So I'm going to have to apologize up front. You're going to hear my desktop in the background. It's loud, and believe me, I'm aware of it. But I want to talk about this ad that I'll give credit to H3 Productions for introducing me to this ad and how fucking moronic it is. But that's enough. I digress. We'll watch this.
When you were a kid, what did you do for fun?
So we'd go blueberry picking, for instance. That's so cute. But it was true.
We grew watermelons, plantains.
I found an old sign which was big enough for me to sit on and made a great toboggan. It was very slick and very fast.
I had a few fish in my basket, and I looked up on this bluff, and here's this black bear sitting there watching me. If he starts chasing me, I'm going to keep throwing the fish out of my basket until he's gorged and he won't bother me.
So let's pause a minute here, because if you're like me, that story sounded a bit dangerous to me. Also exaggerated for sure. I want to tell my own camping story here for a second, which, this isn't meant to discourage anyone from camping. There are plenty of fun activities to have had on a camping trip. But before my family really fell out of the middle class, which was right around the recession, before then, my parents and I used to always go camping during the summer. At least once a year we'd go camping in the Adirondacks. And one summer, I want to say I was about 9 years old, 9 or 10, my parents were setting up the campsite. I had my bike, and I went riding around. I went on some hiking path or something. I was in the middle of nowhere, basically. And there was this very narrow stone bridge that went over a creek. I drove over that bridge with my bike. My front wheel hit a brick, a loose stone. The wheel turned. I flipped over my handlebars, and I fell off the bridge. I went over the barricade, off the side of the bridge, and fell, I want to say, about 10 to 15 feet into the creek, which was very shallow and totally full of stones, made up of stones. So I was very lucky, because I was a few miles away from my parents, and there was nobody around for miles, nobody. Then I fell, again, like closing in at 15 feet, which, may not be a big deal if you're jumping in, but I went over the rails, just flipped over, and I fell and landed on my back in this river. And I got up and I realized, wow, I could have fucking died right there. I could have fallen on my head and fucking killed myself, broken my neck, died right there. Could have killed myself. And it wasn't the only time that I'd actually almost killed myself. A few times I almost drowned because of just being a reckless kid. But the point is that one of the benefits of technology is a lack of risk. There's not a whole lot of risk with playing a video game.
And what did you like to do for fun?
You go door to door, get a group of kids, and you play lots of games, hide and seek, just going out to the field and playing baseball.
And we build these massive forts, the kind that you can actually sit in and play in, with our friends, and it was just really wonderful.
I have my own story. My friends and I think it was about 4 or 5 of us, we broke into a truck. And in the back of this truck, it was a container truck, were a lot of large boards. And so we took those boards and we built a massive fort out of it. I mean, I'm talking about mansion-sized for a fort, from stolen wood out of a truck that we broke into. Now, at the time, as a stupid, reckless kid, it seemed like a good idea, up until the people that owned the truck realized we broke into it, stole their property, found us making the fort on their own property. By the way, smart kids, right? But they found us. They were smart about it too, because they basically sat around and waited one day for us to come back to the fort, which obviously we were still in the middle of working on. Caught us, told us, okay, take all the shit down, put it all back on the truck, and you're going to have to pay for the damage of the truck. And we'll see if I get to another story about vandalism, because there is a whole big story that I could get to on that. But for now, I'll just say that was one of the times I lucked out, where the people were nice about it. They said, okay, just replace the part in the truck you broke and put the shit back, and that'll be about it. Don't come back. And we did it, and thankfully it blew over. We didn't have to get anybody involved. That's one of the things that we're kind of leaving out here, is that, a kid like myself got into a lot of mischief, did a lot of stupid shit, some of which was illegal, but nothing, too hardcore. but, kids get into mischief when they're not at home. Are we never going to address that fact? Are we just going to reminisce about the good old days of fucking old geezers pushing hoops around with sticks and not, kids in the fucking 50s and 60s running around doing crazy shit, getting pissed drunk, crashing cars? I want to listen to a baby boomer talk about what they did as a kid. Let's see how close it is to what my parents did. Their friends told me what they did. They would get pissed drunk and do crazy shit. I never did that with my friends. My friends and I never got pissed drunk and rode around and broke shit while intoxicated. I never did that. They did. Are we going to hear some baby boomers talk about that shit? I highly doubt it.
So what do you like to do for fun?
Video games. Definitely.
In a few years, this kid is going to be going to conventions and leveling up. Know what you did, parents. You did this. You gave this kid access to video games and you turned him into a full-throated misogynist. It's on you, parents.
I like to go on my phone, text, send email.
Is this some sort of young entrepreneurial girls or something? Who the fuck are they sending email to? Who the fuck would you be emailing at that age? Maybe texting, sure, right? I mean, girls texting each other. But emailing? That's so specific. They said it in unison. Who are they emailing?
My favorite thing to do in the world is definitely watching videos and playing video games. Those take up so much of my time.
3 hours or 3 to 4 hours a day. Same.
Who the fuck are they emailing for? I mean, assuming they're still talking about emailing. Who are they emailing for 3 hours? It takes literally seconds to write an email. So you're telling me that they are sending emails, both of them, to each other? Who? Whatever. Just probably a baby boomer wrote this, because it sounds like a baby boomer wrote it. In the old days, baby boomers got pissed drunk and did violent, reckless shit. Your parents, more than likely, were high on weed and fucking alcohol and drove around and did crazy shit. I guarantee you, at least at some point in their lives, they did something that they should have gone to jail for something crazy. I'm sure they did it. These girls are sending emails for 3 hours. Okay, sure. You know what they're not doing? Getting high and getting laid. That's what they're not doing. So spare me the fucking moralist shit, please.
5 hours straight.
Just last week, I watched 23 episodes of a TV series in less than 4 days.
I forget. I'm in a house, I have parents, I have a sister, I have a dog, I just think I'm in the video game, I completely get lost. I would die if I don't have my tablet.
Whenever I feel upset, I'd play video games and I'd feel normal. It's really wonderful.
Are you fucking kidding me? Let's play this again. Watch this.
Whenever I feel upset, I'd play video games and I'd feel normal. It's really wonderful.
Do you understand what she's tearing up about? Here's a kid that is admitting that he's probably fucked up. He's probably getting bullied. He probably has shit going on. His parents are getting divorced. There's probably shit happening in his life. And what does he say? Does he turn to drugs? Does he turn to alcohol? Is he running around in his neighborhood busting shit up? No, he's playing video games to decompress. And here's this fucking bitch tearing up. Oh my god, he's playing video games instead of shooting up heroin. Oh, he could be breaking into my medicine cabinet, stealing my Oxycontin or Xanax. He could be doing drugs and fucking up his life. Instead, he's at home, safe, playing video games. Do these people not understand the alternative? This is baby boomer logic. I am telling you. I guarantee you, find me the person that wrote this, and I fucking guarantee they are a baby boomer. I have never met a baby boomer that has not been a walking contradiction. I don't think kids should be going outside doing crazy shit. Okay, they're at home, they're safe, they're playing video games. Oh, these video games are dangerous and they're addictive and they're terrible. Well, what do you want? What the fuck do you want? Do you want kids outside doing crazy, reckless shit? Or do you want them indoors, playing video games, safe?
When your daughters grow up, your great-great-grandkids, what do you think will happen if this trend continues?
It's scary to think that they'll never have to leave the house.
Cindy grew up doing a lot of the things that I did and enjoyed, And I see what my grandsons are doing today, and it's mind-boggling.
Okay, listen here, old fucking white dude. Listen here, okay? My grandmother was from the South. She was a full-throated fucking racist. So you're sitting there saying, my grandson isn't like me. Well, yeah, I'm not like my grandmother, who is a fucking piece of shit racist. I'm not at all like her. I loved her, as any person should love their family, but I can't help, I can't get away from the fact that my grandmother was a legitimately bad person. But really, I mean, this notion of, like, our grandparents were just such perfect people. You know, all those people, when they talked about, oh, segregation is fine, and we could never have a black president, that's, you know, we can't have that, and we can't have the fags marrying. You can't control what your kids like. If your kids like video games, who are you to say what they should or shouldn't like? If your kid was gay, would you be fine with that? Fucking old white dude, would you be fine with that? I wouldn't care if my kid was gay, straight, progressive, or right-wing, or whatever. I wouldn't care. I'd still love them. I don't know, man. This whole ad just leaves such a bad taste in my mouth. This is purely authoritarian, by the way, but this notion of old people had it right. No, they didn't. Old people were wrong about so much. They still are. They haven't stopped being wrong. Old people suck. So, you know, I don't want to hear this shit about the next generation is going to be worse off. Bullshit. Yeah, we have problems with social justice warriors and crazy progressive nonsense being taught in universities and a few other things, right? We have problems with that. Okay, but I don't want to hear all this bullshit about old people being somehow of sounder mind than young people. Going back to these old ass people that segregated the army during the Second World War, segregated fucking people, citizens, interned the fucking Japanese. I don't want to hear your moralist crap when you are a completely morally reprehensible piece of shit.
By the time they have kids, it's going to be a really different environment.
I actually feel a little sad because I feel like he's missing out on what's out there in the beautiful world.
Do you want me to teach you how to parent as a fucking 20-something? Do I need to tell you these very simple steps? Take your kid somewhere exciting. Take your kid to, have him go on a trip. Take your kid to Japan. Take your kid to fucking Japan. If your kid is like, nah, you know, my smartphone's better than Japan, your kid's crazy then. Take your kid somewhere exciting. Take your kid to Palau. This small, tiny-ass nation, take your kid there. Fly him fucking halfway across, more than halfway across the fucking world. All the way across the fucking world. Take your kid to some small, take him to Malta. Take him to Andorra. Take him to somewhere barely anyone's ever been. I mean, really, if you have the money to blow, do something crazy. Otherwise, you're just living within your means. Maybe you can't afford to go on an outlandish trip and your kid is just enjoying himself by playing a smartphone. Well, fine. He's enjoying his piece of technology as opposed to going outside and fucking shit up. That's what I did as a kid before all this technology came along, before I was really a gamer. I went outside and I fucked shit up.
That special connection with nature, I think it's innate in all children, but needs to be nurtured.
There's nothing innate about anybody that isn't biologically driven, you collectivist retard. There's no way to determine whether your child is going to give a shit about nature or not. There's no way to determine that. You could be a total fucking outdoorsman, crazy in terms of camping and hiking and all that bullshit. Drag your kid along. It doesn't mean they're going to like it. It doesn't mean that that's what they want to do with their life. The individual is going to make a conscious decision about what appeals most to them. If it's staying indoors and playing video games or doing whatever on a fucking tablet, it's going to be that. If it's going outdoors and messing around in nature, gardening, or fucking shit up, it's up to that person. So, whatever, you know? Fuck Nature Valley.